Today I'm going to show you another pasta dish. Today it's a simple springtime pasta that uses half pantry items and half fresh ingredients so that you get your convenience, but not a lot of prep work. We're going to get right to it. Come on over. You're going to need a non-stick skillet, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and to start we're going to use 2 cloves of garlic and half of an onion that's been finely diced. All right, so I've got a tablespoon of olive oil heating up here over medium heat. Got half an onion that's been finely diced and 2 cloves of garlic that have been minced. So we're gonna go ahead and add those in. Oops. Just love the smell of garlic and onion. It's gotta be, should be made into a candle, I think. I think that would be amazing. We'll let that go for just a couple minutes. While that does that, we'll go over here. I have a 14.5 ounce can of diced tomatoes. You could totally use fresh tomatoes, but there's not really a good selection right now, but they're coming, I'm sure. So I did canned tomatoes. We have 9 ounces of marinated artichoke hearts, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and then to finish off we have fresh basil and parsley. We'll get there in a minute. All right, at this point you want to get a large pot of water going, salt it. We're going to be using a whole box of spaghetti noodles, so get that going. And before you drain your pasta, make sure you reserve about a cup of pasta water. We're going to use that in the sauce to possibly loosen it up if we need to. So definitely pay attention to that. Make sure you keep some before you drain your noodles. You don't want any crunchy onions in this sauce, so make sure that you get these nice and cooked down. Also watch that your garlic's not burning. You don't want that either. That will make this taste pretty awful. All right, so once your onions are cooked down, 2 tablespoons of tomato paste here. This adds just a rich tomato flavor. It really, that's pretty much all it's for. Just get that stirred around in here. And if you're using fresh tomatoes, I'd still use the tomato paste. I just think it's a nice addition. And then 14.5 ounce can of tomatoes. After adding your tomatoes, you want to get that up to a simmer. Once it's reached a simmer, reduce the heat to low and let that go for just a couple minutes. I'm going to go get the pasta into the boiling water and then we'll prep up our greens. Prepping and getting your timing right in the kitchen is that while one thing's going, you're working on the next. It makes things more efficient. Start with cutting them all in half and take it from there. And these are the marinated artichoke hearts. I think I said that already, but just in case. Just gonna put them right into the tomato sauce here, just to warm up. Not looking to cook them or anything. Okay. And I haven't salted this yet, and there's a reason. Tomatoes, canned tomatoes can be actually quite salty, and also we're gonna be using that pasta water which has been salted. So after you are sure that you're done with all that, then we're gonna give it a taste test, and then we'll see if we need to add salt. Otherwise, we don't wanna have it too salty of a dish. I'm gonna show you how to cut basil, because you may not know. You don't wanna go leaf by leaf, because that's gonna take forever. Get a nice stack of leaves going, and then you'll chop them up, and that will make this quick work. So if you were to roll them up, you could do the chiffonade. Ooh, gotta sharpen my knife a little bit. Really just eyeballing the basil. I like a lot of basil, but really it's just boils down to how much you want. I put on the recipe about a handful, but if you want more or less, by all means. All right, so my pasta's done. I drained it, put the noodles right back into that same pot. We got the sauce here. You can see it's quite thickened, very reduced. It's gonna be really delicious. So we're gonna put that in there. And then I've got my pasta water here. This is the that I mentioned earlier about reserving. So we'll stir this around, just see if we need it. All right, so that's good. So then I'm gonna add in the handful of chopped basil. Go a little crazy with the Parmesan cheese. And that's really however much you want. I'd say a pretty decent amount though. That also has a lot of salt in it. So this is why you definitely want to save salting for the very last part, just because it could be too much. And the heat of the noodles and the water and the sauce is going to break down that basil, but not too much. So it'll stay a bright, vivid green, won't get brown or anything. Basil does not look good if it's overcooked. It gets kind of a brown, I don't know, kind of a bruised color. Okay. So grab yourself a nice serving of noodles here. Finish with a little more Parmesan. Some fresh parsley. And there you have it, a spring-inspired dish that doesn't take a lot of time. You're gonna love it.